Alright, so the Volkswagen painting is not dry enough yet to start painting on. So, again, we're going to start doing this underpainting. Well, we've done the underpainting. We'll go ahead and put the first color layers on for this guy. So, since all of us are home, hiding from the plague, let's do something. Let's do something creative. So, today, I think we'll focus. We'll see how far we go along in here, but we're going to work on this background and all of this land up here, and then there's some stuff we need to work on under here. And we'll probably we'll leave the wagon alone and the horse alone today, probably. We'll see. When we get a little farther along, we may be able to do some things with that. But there's not a lot of trees or stuff in here because the whole focus is on the Amish wagon. So, eat a few almonds, drink a few drinks, do some painting. Hey, Bruce! They got us all locked down here in Kentucky now, too. All right. So, anyway, let's go ahead and oil this canvas down. Most of this we're going to wipe off, but that might be enough right there. This is, what is this? 12, I think this is a 12 by 16. I think this is a 12 by 16. Yeah, because the other painting I got to do that we could do today is the little girls. I don't know if I did a video on that one. Or, matter of fact, have I even done that one? Oh yeah, I did that one. I don't know if I did it on video though. Of the two little girls holding hands. Go ahead and toward your swing. Alright. So, let's get a paper towel. Can't see if you guys are talking to me or not. Comments are not coming through today. Alright, let's just wipe a lot of this back, because I want this to dry pretty quick. So I want the mixture that I'm using is already pretty lean, but I just need enough for this to blend. Alright, now this is, I think I called this the ride home, but I think I'm going to call it before the storm, because it's going to be kind of dark and cloudy over on this side. A little lighter blue on that side. And some clouds in the middle. So there's not going to be much blue in the sky for this painting. Trying to get the lid to my stuff set up over there. Alright, so let's see how I put in my reference photo. The reference photo is a little different than what I want to actually portray, but alright. So let's get a little bit of, I think let's get a little bit of Payne's Gray off the board. This is a Winsor & Newton Payne's Gray. If you haven't used Payne's Gray before, I highly recommend it. It's a nice kind of a bluish gray. It's not neutral gray, it's pretty kind of bluish, but it's kind of nice. Hey Graham. Hey Bruce. Finally I could see somebody talking to me. I was beginning to wonder if like any of that was coming through. Alright, so now before we start, I'll tell you this so I don't forget to tell you later. As we get closer to these larger objects in the front, we will paint right over them, because we can just take it back off with a Q-tip. And that keeps us from getting like a light colored halo all the way around the image of that we want to portray. Because if you do that, it kind of steals the depth away from your painting. So I'll keep this little plate of that over there for now. Let's get a filbert brush, I guess. Let's start with a filbert anyway. This is a number 7. That's an odd number. I must have just picked that up somewhere. So All right, so let's take some of that, some of this Payne's Gray, a little more white, and maybe I'll add just a touch of cerulean blue to that. Make it a little more blue. I don't want too much. I don't want it to be blue though. So we'll come back. We'll add a little bit more other stuff to it. So we're gonna take a pretty good bit of time to work on this sky. So let's just kind of. So we're just like using it as we're putting it on the canvas. We're kind of giving it a little bit of a push like that, so that we're bringing the bristles to bear. We're not really just. We're not. We could tap it like this. You know, at the end of the brush, and we will do that a little later. But right now, we're kind of not doing it that way. All right. Let's kind of keep this. If you guys have any questions as we go, let me know. All right. We're going to add a little bit of this, a little more Payne's Gray. We're going to puddle paint today. If you haven't heard me use that term before, we're just kind of painting in the same puddle. I'm kind of moving around because I want this to be kind of randomized. But most of the dark clouds will be over this side. Most of them. Not really a lot of talking that needs to occur in this part. This is kind of just one of those kind of watch it as we go kind of things. All right, let's blend a little bit of that. We're just going to use an oval brush. Before we start putting more color up there. You can use a softer brush if that works best for you. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. All right. See how long my rotator cuff holds up for that. It's already starting to hurt a little bit, but anyway, if we can avoid surgery, we will do that. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Just wipe this brush out, clean it out, wipe it out. All right. Let's see. Now right in through here, it's going to be really dark before we get done, but the trees that are going to go in front of this are going to be even darker than these clouds. So Let's start moving back a little toward more gray. And this part down here is really just kind of, now, I'll tell you what, let's just do this. Let's just do this. Let's just kind of go ahead and finish this up, this part. Put some more clouds on there in a second. All right, now, let's blend this out. So this is underpainted with burnt umber. If you're joining us in part 2, which is what this is, it's underpainted with burnt umber and a little bit of medium underneath of it. All right, that's what I was getting to, this part right here. Get into this part, kind of single color. It's just going to kind of be, just paint over this horse's ears for now. Probably should have used a stiffer brush. That's okay. We'll figure it out. We're going to use that umber underneath of that to just kind of leave that, pick up that bit of storminess behind us. And then these undercolors, we'll start to raise them back up in a minute with some extra highlight. Yeah, I'm going to use a stiffer brush. I don't like that brush. For that anyway, I don't like it. Let's just brush some of this in here. I'm going to put trees over it, but that'll let the sky kind of filter in there. Now, let's see. Kind of being free with the brush here. All right. Let's pick it up a little bit more. Pick up enough paint, really. There we go. I'm trying to use a thinner layer. One of the paintings I did recently, I used created some texture for some snow, and good Lord, it's taken titanium white forever to dry. It's just, I don't know if it was the brand or what, but Lord, it's taking forever. All right, let me look at that. I just want to add some of these darker shadows back in a couple places. All right. Hang on, guys. I'll look and see if there's any questions in just a second. All right, that's kind of how I want that. Hey, Billy. How you doing, man? I think the questions are coming, or the comments are coming through like delayed. But anyway, it's good to see you, man. Hey, Anthony. So for you guys that just kind of joined up, the other Volkswagen painting wasn't quite as dry as I hoped it would be. So, you know, we had to switch and we'll start working on this one while we're waiting for that one to dry. I still kind of don't like that. I still want this to be a little bit darker. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. That's pretty good. Let's put some trees in here. Now the trees are going to be sitting, especially over on this side, they're going to be kind of sitting in the dark. The oil paint off my shirt. My brand new shirt. All right, so let's see. Let's just use that. Where'd that brush go? Where did I do that brush? There it is. All right, so we'll just use some sap green and some burnt sienna. No, that's not right. That's not what it is. Burnt umber. Let's just kind of push up some trees in here. All right. And over here, we're just going to have things kind of insinuated, so we'll just kind of push those up like that. All right. So let's work the middle of those trees. I'm not going to put too much detail on them because they're pushed back pretty far. Oh yeah, dude, you did. That's okay. There's so many things going on with all this crazy virus stuff that, you know, I think all of us are thrown off a little bit. All right. Scratch a couple tree trunks in there before we highlight this. So we're not going to put too much. We're not going to put too much highlight on this because, you know, it's in the storm kind of a thing. But we'll put a little bit, just a little bit. So let's get a little bit of this yellow. Let's add a little bit of that green. We'll probably play against that green pretty good too, though, because I just want just the slightest little bit of highlight. Like that. All right. Now, we're going to do a little mix and match as we move down the canvas. So let's go to, I'm going to do this with a filbert too. Let's get some sap green. We'll kind of mix it in the gray pile that we use. We'll put this over here in the same puddle we were painting everything else out of. So we'll slap a little bit of gray on there with it. That'll dull it down a little bit. Especially since it has like a little bit of blue in here. Notice we haven't gone back and squared away the horse yet, but we will. Now the sun is up up here. So some of this grass is going to get some highlights, but not just yet. We'll put this first color down, and then we'll come back. And this is mostly the mid-tone. We'll add some shadows, and we'll add some. And then the same thing here. We're going to paint right over past that edge, just like that. I just over exaggerated it just so I could show you, but maybe I don't think you can over exaggerate. Maybe it was exaggerated. Being a writer, words mean a lot to me. So, all right. So let's just kind of blend this because I want this to be nice and smooth off in the distance. See how this looks. Alright, I'm going to put some of this color in this window. And over here, over the horse. You can see now, hopefully you can see now, that where we put some of these darker shadows in, with the original burnt umber, it's starting to show through the glaze there, so you can really get a good. It really helps set the shadows up. I probably should have put more than those, than the ones that I did put in there, but that's okay. We can make it work. We can make it work. All right, a little more gray with that burnt umber, I think. I mean, a little more gray with that sap green. Maybe just throw a little burnt umber in here with it in a minute, too. Hey, Amy. Oh, we're just kind of getting started, but I mean, we're only going to do the front and foreground today because we put the horse and wagon, both of those two things. I've never done anything like that, so we're going to have to. It's going to take more time, and people get kind of tired of watching me paint, so we'll do a little bit at a time. All right, so for some weird reason, I just decided to throw a highlight in right there, but while I was working on the darks. All right, well, that's okay. All right, so this is like, just kind of marking for myself here. I'm painting right up onto the horse. Again. All right. And then back here on the back side, we're down a little bit because the road's coming through. So let's see, we're going to cover that part right there. And then let's get on more gray here. Let's put a bit of a darker hue. There we go. That's better. So the road is cutting across like from here this way as it disappears into a vanishing point over there. So keeping the ground, we want to keep the rest of the ground straight though. So I was just kind of got a little too much gray that time. A little more green. Now, let's blend that, and then we can start working on adding some highlights into the landscape. Because I want to pick up some of that sun down and around on the stuff too. So, thank you, June. Thank you. So let's put the highlights in, and then we'll come back and we'll do the cleaning up part with the Q-tip before we go anywhere else. Let's see. Let me wipe this out. All right, let's pick up. I think we'll do this in a broader strokes. Let's pick up the flat. And let's pick up some of this yellow. And so what we're going to do, we're going to lay in some broad highlights here. And we'll just kind of blend it as we go. I want all of that to be highlighted. I'm going to add another highlight on top of that momentarily. Now, right along in here, we got to clean the brush though. Time out, got to clean the brush. We'll clean that off in a second, but let's pick up just a little bit of white. And put a little bit of like a mounting fog in here that kind of runs that way. There we go. It's really subtle. Let's do some on this side. Over here we'll make it a little bit more. We've already kind of tapped the trees in there. Now, maybe like even kind of drift it up like that a little bit. Yeah, I like that. I'm just kind of experimenting here because at this point I don't have, we're way off in the reference photo, which is usual for me. So, all right. So when I'm laying this highlight down, I want to come all the way over to onto the wagon and then pull it across because I don't want to create a brush stroke right in the, or create a brush line right in the middle. And I'm just going to kind of let this fade as it comes forward. Just kind of blend all that out. That looks good. All right, let's clean the brush and then let's blend it, and then we'll deal with the road, and we'll deal with some of the other. Well, I need to put another highlight out there too, probably. Let's pick up some titanium white, some of this bismuth yellow, a little bit more. Let's just kind of add some of these little refinements. Right. Put some over here too. Yeah, do that. There it is. So we're just using a light tap, 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 kind of like pushing it up on the thing. Now let's put some darker things on the road here. Let me shadow some of that in a minute, but we're not worried about it right now. All right. Little greeny, yellowish green color to add to this. We haven't added any additional medium to this yet, and hopefully we won't have to before we get done. We'll see, we'll see. All right. All right. Pretty happy with that so far. Hey, Rosemary. You guys have any questions? Hope everybody's doing good, staying out of mischief, since we're all like under house arrest. All right. Now, let's do some cleaning up part. This is almost as fun as doing the painting part. So we're just going to use, well, initially, anyway, we'll just use some Q-tips. I was teasing Emily this morning about, yesterday I must have dropped half a dozen Q-tips on the floor. And she had a watch party of the Volkswagen going, so I was like, hey, you got Q-tips all over the floor. And I think she only halfway heard what I said. She's like, what? I got Q-tips on the floor? It was funny. She's my buddy. All right, guys. So now we're just going to take this. Because we have medium on the canvas, and because we're using oil paint, we can just use that to pick the paint right back up off of the places that we don't want it. So that way, we don't create a halo around our objects. Because you don't want like a painting to come up within like a 1/16 of an inch and then there's just this big white spot. I mean, that would just look terrible. All right, so let's do the white. We'll do the horse last because it's going to be hardest. But it's not going to be hard, I don't think. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. So now hopefully you can see we're picking up quite a bit of paint off of that thing. Hey, Daniel. All right, then we get, so now here, we're chopping this grass off. So we put this grass in, right? So we know the grass is coming up behind the wagon, so it's okay, chop it off. All right, let's see. Let me get a little bit off of that right there. That's all going to be really dark. And I'll decide what we're going to do with the wheels here in a minute. If we're going to try to do that or if we're just going to paint over them, because we could do either one. All right. So if you guys don't follow Little Painter Girl, you probably should. She's doing a whole new series of watercolors. Mostly she does acrylics, but she's doing a whole new series of watercolors with a whole bunch of different animals that she hasn't done before. It's pretty cool. You guys should check it out. And then of course Anthony's channel is always going. He's always got something going on. So you guys should check out his channel too. Grayscale painting. All right, so I don't think we're going to paint over the. I think the wheels we're just going to paint over those. But now, I'll show you a little bit of a trick here in just a second. Maybe if I have to. Let me see. I probably will because I don't see how I'm going to get those ears. Maybe. Yeah, I can probably do it. If you get into a tight spot where you can't get a Q-tip, you can wind your own Q-tips around, which I've done that before. Or you can take and put a little bit of linseed oil on a brush and then tap it out so that it's dry. And then it'll pick the paint, and then just touch it, and it'll pick the paint right up. I'll show you. Let's see if I don't know if I can narrowly show you. I'll try to show you. The only reason I say that is because it's a really small spot, so I don't know if you guys will be able to see it or not, but we'll give it a try. I might could show you back here on a wheel. It might be easier. Let's do that. Let's see if I can show you what I'm talking about. So just have some linseed oil on a round brush. I'm going to wipe out most of it. I'm just going to take it here and I'm just going to wipe it down that wheel spoke. And as you can see, it just lifts the paint right back off. Let's wipe the brush out. So I hope you guys could see that. I don't need to do the whole thing, but all right. So I hope you can see that, how that wipes that off. It just picks it right up. See, it's just lifting it right up off the thing. All right, let's do the road, and then we got some grass on this side too. So let's do that. Oh, that'll be dark probably. In the reference photo, it's really dark. All right, so let's get. Let's pick this up. All right, let's do this. Let's pick up. Tell you what, I'm going to put a little bit of linseed oil on the palette. Just a little bit. By the way, these little drugstore decanters are awesome for storing linseed oil and stuff. Yeah, no, that's the wrong color. All right, now the wheels eventually are going to be black, blue, and white. So we're going to kind of go with a brown of some type. Let's go. Okay, you can let's use burnt umber for now. Let's see how that looks. Okay, you might use sienna. The umber might be too dark. Let's put a little bit of that on the palette, just in case. I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's try that. In order to kind of test this color. Hey, Harriet. In order to kind of test this color, let's just let's put it over here in a dark spot to start with. Yeah, it's pretty dark, so it's dark enough. How about a little less linseed oil, a little more paint? Let's try that. And then again, when we get over here by the horse, we're going to paint right over the horse, right over his legs, right over the wheels, all of that. We're just kind of glazing over the road, going back and picking paint up and moving it. And since it's a road, we don't really want it to be too smooth. It's not asphalt. All right, come up here closer. We'll just kind of. Now I've mixed a little bit of medium with this. As I slide it over the burnt umber. And we can always just clean that right back off because we don't want to create those halo things. So I almost got confused by that spoke there on that road, on that wheel, I mean. All right, so this is kind of like the mid-tone. We'll start picking up the burnt umber down here a little closer. Let's just keep this. Let's go ahead and finish finish the rest of this out like this. And then we'll come back and add, delete, and multiply. All right. So it kind of adds the mid-tone in there nice and smooth. Okay. All right, let's add some highlights. We'll start off with some titanium white. I'm going to add a streak that runs the length of the road. Just like that. And then we're going to take any brush. This will work. So take a 1-inch brush and we'll just kind of blend this into the road. And then let's see. A little more white. Okay. Now we're going to start putting some shadows in to go with that in a second. Let's try some of this. And these shadows are actually in front of the vehicle, but that's okay. It's important to get them in now before we start painting the wagon, you know, whenever it dries. I mean, whenever the rest of this dries, because we got to wipe it back from the wagon. So, all right, that's pretty good. All right. All right. And we don't have to put the final touches on the grass at this point, but I'm going to put some of it in just to. Before we do that, though, let's go back and clean up the wagon again. Now that we've painted that in there. If you guys have any questions, just throw them up there. Hey, Axel. For those of you who are new or haven't been on my channel before, Axel's my cat. He's quite a fella. It's quite a fellow. Aren't you, buddy? He's just passing through. He's checking us out. All right, Q-tips. Back to Q-tips. All right. So basically, you know, we've come in here and we've covered a bunch of stuff up here. Things that we're gonna want to paint over the next session. So I'm gonna clean that out. We don't have to worry too much about the wheels, but we do want to remove this highlight. Not on the road, but just on the spokes. Do that with a clean Q-tip. I might have to do that. I might have to do that with a brush. We'll see. I'm pretty adept with a Q-tip, so. All right. Getting off the horse's foot. Go through a lot of Q-tips this way, though. If you guys have any questions about this technique, be sure to leave them. If I don't see them during the thing, I will pick them up when I always read back through all the comments, so I will see them and I will answer you if I happen to miss them while we're live. All right, touched that a little too much right there. Let's just kind of smooth that out. There we go. All right, let's put some darker grasses in, and then we'll paint over those tomorrow with some other stuff. So let's see, how do we want to do that? Let me think about that for a second. I know how I did it in the underpainting, but let's use some let's use some yellow ochre and maybe some green. The grass on this side is not going to be so bright because, you know, it's not in the sunlight. So, hey, Jane. All right. I'm going to plan to, except for Friday. Friday I have to go to the hospital for physical therapy for my arm, but I'm going to plan to try to paint every single day while we're all in the government's version of Facebook jail. So we'll try to have, we'll give you guys something to look at other than just Netflix. Well, there's nothing wrong with Netflix. Probably not as entertaining as Netflix, but it's okay. Now, this grass here needs a little bit more dark, so we're going to add some gray in here. Some of this Payne's gray. And let's see. The road's kind of like right here. And let's just kind of... Alright, I think we can go ahead and slap some highlights up there a little bit. So let's do. Now I've got a little bit of medium in the brush this time. This is yellow ochre. With a little bit of medium. Alright. I leave a lot of that dark in there because it'll come out really good. Alright. So this is where we're going to stop. I'm going to clean the wagon up just a little bit more. But we're going to stop progressing here. We're going to let all of this dry. And then we're going to come back. We'll re-oil the canvas again. So if you let me kind of recap where we've come from. Then, for those of you who might not have seen the very first part, 12 by 16 economy canvas, 3 coats of gesso on it, sanded. Then we sketched this. And that's about all we sketched. We just sketched this part and kind of do a couple lines about the road. It's like I figured out where the horizon line has moved since we originally sketched it. Then we did put it with a wash of brown umber. The whole thing washed. Well, no, then we put a fix-it on it, which is a spray fix-it. You can also use hairspray to keep this sketch from coming off as we start to do the next part with the burnt umber. Burnt umber and linseed oil mixed. Did a wash over the entire canvas, and then we wiped the whole thing off, and then we came back and very patiently went through and did all the highlights and took away paint and added paint until we got to where we wanted it to be, and went on from there. So a couple things, and then today, what we did today. So another couple things. This part of the horse is a highlight, and this is part of the horse, and it's a highlight. It's not supposed to be green, so let's just take that out. And this is the horse's tail, and this is the horse's tail over here as well. And then we got a few things right here. So a couple little touch-ups here and there. But what we wanted to do was make sure that it's as the paint comes up to the canvas, that we didn't stop there and create a halo around the painted objects, because if you do, it just really makes it look funky. Just kind of touching up little things here and there. As we paint this up whenever it dries, which hopefully will be in just a couple days. Tomorrow, if the Volkswagen painting is not ready to go, we will come back and do the 2 little girls that we did yesterday. And if it's still not dry, well, I've got 2 more of the reading girls that we can paint the painting from beginning to end. We can do those. So we've got something we can do every day. Then we'll come back and we'll paint these. So the wagon's going to be blue. It's got the little red stop sign, two-tone red sign, stop sign. Haven't decided on the color of the horse yet. If you guys have a suggestion that you would like to see, let me know. Who knows? Maybe it'll show up that way. So, hope all you guys are safe. I hope you have plenty of toilet paper. I don't know what that's about. Can't figure that out. But and milk. It's weird. People are crazy. All right, guys. Anyway, y'all have a good day, and I will see you guys tomorrow.